Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me. It is an honor to be here with you this moment. My name is Ilham Adhyatma. I'm a lecturer of UIR, Universitas Islam Riau. Field of Research SoRes, or Social and Humanities Research Symposium 2020. This time I'm going to be speaking to you about democratization of president election system directly and indirectly in Indonesia. Hopefully, this presentation will be useful for all of us. Okay, let's start by chanting the name of Allah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Number 1. Introduction. Democratization of president election systems directly and indirectly in Indonesia. Before amendment of Undang-Undang Dasar 1945 Constitution of Indonesia in new order, the sovereignty of the peoples is held by a body called the Majelis Permusyawaratan Rakyat or People's Consultative Assembly as representative for whole Indonesian people. The MPR at that time also had the prerogative to appoint a head of state or president and vice president. During the New Order era, the presidential and vice presidential election system was chosen by the MPR with a voting system based on the most vote. Before amendment of Undang-Undang Dasar 1945 Constitution of Indonesia. So, the resignation of President Suharto shows that the people no longer agree with the presidential election system, which was implemented indirectly. The people's disapproval of the presidential election system during the New Order era was due to the fact that it was considered less democratic and had the potential to produce authoritarian leaders who did not respect human rights. That is one indication of the many problems that eventually led to changes in the constitution or amendment to the 1945 Constitution of Indonesia. The democratization of election based on the current system needs to be re-examined because democracy is one of the issues that emerged after the fall of the New Order regime. In its implementation, whether we realize it or not, the current democratic system is still far from being the substance of democracy itself. The experience of democracy in Indonesia is still relatively new. So, there are still many deficiencies in its implementation. It turned out that Indonesians had bitter experiences in democracy and governance during the New Order regime, which was very anti-democratic, tend to be authoritarian and dictatorial. The government at that time was run repressively. Number 2. Method. This research is included in the category of normative legal research using secondary data, which consists of primary legal materials, secondary legal materials, and tertiary legal materials. Number 3. Result and discussion. Republicanism implies government that is administered from the people and for the benefit of all the people in that country. So, the administration of state institutions in the republic must always be implemented for the public interest. The head of state, as one of the leaders of one office in the republican government, must show the will of the public interest, and every decision is determined based on the public will as well. Republic of Indonesia has widely used various systems for the election of president and vice president, starting with the election of the first President Sukarno until the election of Joko Widodo as the seventh President of Indonesia, from 1945 after independence until now. The presidential election system has undergone many changes in line with the amendment to the 1945 Constitution with the aim of creating a democratic electoral system. From the New Order era until the amendment of the 1945 Constitution was born, the Reformation age as a very influential foundation for the progress of the nation. This is marked by changes in the Indonesian democratic system, namely the direct election of president by the people with right guaranteed by the Constitution. This is the point of progress of democracy in Indonesia, which is in line with the substance of democracy. The government is administered from the people, by the people, and for the people. So, the classic question arises: why is the post-amendment presidential and vice presidential election system considered to be more democratic? The simple answer is because direct election opened the door to the appearance of a president and vice president who are in accordance with the wishes of the majority of the people themselves. In addition, in direct presidential election, it will be very difficult for the president and vice president to deviate from using money politics to win, that the public can judge their future leaders. Unlike this case with the presidential and vice presidential election, the direct election of the president and vice president during the reform era does not mean that it does not have weakness or implication. Although this is still a hypothesis, a number of weaknesses must be anticipated from an early age for the future so that the implementation of this direct election does not become a delay that creates difficult and may occur. The Indonesian state is rich in religious and ethnic plurality. There can be a possibility that voters in certain areas will elect almost 100% of certain candidates of president and vice president based on religion or ethnicity and the area of residence. Of course, this will have an impact on the result of the presidential and vice presidential election in these areas, which can be very unbalanced if you look at this aspect by ignoring two programs present by presidential candidates. Number 4. Conclusion. This research concludes that during the New Order era, the president was elected by the People's Consultative Council or MPR, using a voting system, and only MPR members had the right to vote. So that this system is considered less democratic because it is determined by political power and tends to authoritarian president. The president and vice president are directly elected by all Indonesian people based on majority vote, so that this system better reflects the nature of transparency and democracy. The implication of the direct presidential election for democracy in Indonesia is the emergence of a regional disintegrative attitude. Thank you for watching my presentation and apologies for all my mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.